Hey, welcome in on the sultry evening here, wherever you are. Hope this mood finds you. I hope this finds your mood good. This is Tony talking trash here, and tonight I'm going to continue my journey here in soul music, and we're going to look at the records of Marvin Gaye, at least in the way of my view of things. Marvin Gaye was certainly a seminal artist as far as the Motown label goes. You know, he and Stevie Wonder both, whether some of it at the behest of Berry Gordy, some of it, was purportedly at the wishes of Marvin Gaye, were tried in a bunch of different styles early on in their career, but eventually became, pretty certain that the pop market was where the best music was, where they were the most successful, and it was pretty clear early on that Marvin Gaye had an astounding voice, and it's really my opinion that I think he probably was the greatest soul singer. If you hear the pure voice, people really, really like it. Singers really like it. Great singers really respect Marvin Gaye. Now, Marvin Gaye had unfortunately, a tragic trajectory in his life. Really can say that he peaked at some point. I guess you look at some of the early records when they go. I guess his first record was in 1961 on the Tamla label, which was new at the time. You know, those old ones there. I should have more of those early records. I have most of these things on compact discs, so you know a lot of the early ones here I'm not going to have here. I have some of the most of the ones that I think that are important to me, but I do have a complete collection of his. I have some of the posthumous records too. You know, one of the posthumous records, I guess, and I omitted those in my rating. Dream of a Lifetime. I have that, but it's on vinyl. But and I think You're the Man. I actually have that too. But that's both of those charted surprisingly. One was in '85, and then the one was just recent. But I see that it charted. I don't really understand that, but anyway. When we look through this, Marvin Gaye certainly tragically died at the hands of his father, but you could say that his career had probably peaked before then. He lived in exile, a part of it probably due to finances and taxes, but he ended up overseas, and there's a wonderful documentary on that somewhere where he's in the church, he's playing piano, playing Distant Lover and things like that. It's I'm playing a concert over there. Um, Certainly went through his phases. You know, he was linked to Berry Gordy's sister, Anna, and she was substantially older than he was, and kind of had more of a, in a way it was said they had more of a paternal relationship. That's what's said in the books. What do I know about it? Zero, personally, but. And that's what's portrayed. So I'm sure everybody's life is complicated, and there was a lot of love between them. And of course, their breakup led to one of Marvin's good records, and you'll see on there, Here My Dear. And after that, he had a real erotic relationship early on with Jan, and that was the result of I think one of his greatest periods. And after that, then we had the exile, and we had the unfortunate addiction problems and tax problems, and then on his way back, he was, as everybody knows, tragically murdered by his own father, which is a hard thing to deal with. But let's go through him, and let's not deal on the negative things. Let's deal and marvel at the fabulous voice that Marvin had. And I think one of the issues that and we have in some of these lower records, and I'm going to talk about these some, but it's not really, to me, a kind of thing here that's works. And some of these things, they plugged Marvin into a situation where they were trying to go for a Frank Sinatra market, try to go to a more easy listening market. I don't know whether Joni Mathis would be a correct target or audience, but some of it was geared maybe that way, and but some of it was certainly geared at the what was considered the proper singer market, and at the time, the things that were selling in pop music, and to try to really break into that market by Sinatra and some of the great singers, and technically Marvin Gaye had that. But I'm going to start this thing off with number 17 here, Joe. If you could put some of these ones up, the ones that I don't have, I'm only going to feature some at the beginning, so I'm going to go through these bottom ones pretty quickly here. As a tribute to the great Nat King Cole, 1965. It's another one of these things. Stevie Wonder has one of these records. I don't really ever like somebody doing somebody else's music. I know that it's a common thing in jazz. It's a common thing in soul music, I guess. It's maybe even a common thing in rock music, But I kind of like your own thing, and I kind of like coming up with original material. This you've got It's Only a Paper Moon, To the Ends of the Earth, Unforgettable, Mona Lisa. It's just not necessary. It's one of these styles that Marvin got plugged into. So that's my number 17. Number 16 is and I would give that 1.5 stars. So it was some 65, as I said. And we're going to continue number 16 in 1964 with Hello Broadway, which is to me is a complete mismatch there. You've got People, him actually doing People. I mean, if you can check some of it out. My Kind of Town, Days of Wine and Roses, that situation. You've got basically show tunes. He's doing show tunes here. And he does Walk on the Wild Side, not the Lou Reed one, but People. Like we said, The Party's Over. What Kind of Fool Am I? My Kind of Town. It's amusing, but it's a complete mismatch. It's not. He's not meant for that. It's more of an anomaly. It's more that's of something that somebody does like a vanity project at the end of their career, like Rod Stewart did when he went to the standards and stuff, or Paul McCartney when they did that. They were many records into their career. But it's interesting that so many attempts at these different things happened early in Marvin Gaye's career. And again, you have more of a jazz and pop influence here for my number 15. And this is a 2-star one for me, 1964, because of the unevenness largely. When I'm Alone. Again, all these have fantastic vocal performances. They're just ill-fitted for what Marvin Gaye had. And some of these you question, some of the ones before you question some of the effort put forth. But some of these, he's really trying. When I'm Alone, I Cry is a beautiful version here. If My Heart Could Sing, there's some beautiful ballads here. I'll Be Around Because of You. You've Changed. But these are all, again, standard style presentations of a jazz or jazzish type of a presentation, and it just, to me, is not something that works here. Number 14, I have The Soul Moods of Marvin Gaye, 2.5 stars. This is his debut album. This record is a new artist to try something new. Again, to me, the styles that are tried here don't work. Because it's really early. It's called The Soulful Moods, and it's got a really young Marvin Gaye here, and it's jazz and traditional pop. You've got The Masquerade Is Over, My Funny Valentine. The same kind of stuff, do How High the Moon. It's too high a concentration of that. And that's why I have it so low at 1961 at 2.5 stars. At number 13, I have Moods of Marvin Gaye here, and this is a studio album that came into some of the pop things. I do have that record here somewhere. Let me check this out. Yeah, here's this one here. I have this one on vinyl. This is one with Nightlife. I'll Be Doggone. So this is a pop record here, and this is one that broke through. Ain't That Peculiar's on here is fantastic. One for My Baby at the end. I Worry About You. The second side, really not as much as the first side. The first side's a fantastic side. Tell This Heart of Mine. I mean, this is a fantastic side one. So this is one of the good records that Marvin started here with this one. And again, I would give this 2.5 stars, or no, actually 3 stars here. My bad. Number 12. I would go with 1963's That Stubborn Kind of Fella. Again, the early situation was poked at the pop market after we tried all at the same time. If you look at this release date, it's 1963. So you had all those ones with Nat King Cole and stuff just in like 2 years' time from that. It's just very interesting here. But this record, That Stubborn Kind of Fella here, they had that big hit, Pride and Joy, Hitchhike. This is good stuff too. But once again, I think you've got a situation where you got the first side is top loaded, and a couple of these records of his were like that. The first side is very, very strong. Wherever I Lay My Hat's even as strong. It's a Gay Whitfield song, fantastic song. Marvin had a hand in most of that, and then some of the second half, there's some Barry Gordy Stevenson songs and some Anna Gordy, and they're just not as good as songs, and it's just the material's not as good, and that happened at these times. Martha and the Vandellas, of course, background vocals on that particular record, but that was a big one. So now let's move into 1982, and really what everybody said was the comeback. And if ever, I think everybody remembers, uh, kind of remembers Marvin at the All-Star game, doing the national anthem with the slow thing. This is a la that period of time. This is Midnight Love. This is when he back was on top. 1982, Sexual Healing. I think again, some good songs, but not as Joy is a good song. My love is waiting. I'm not so crazy about that. Sexual Healing, it's one of those songs that got played. Everybody liked it. I was happy for him. Rockin' After Midnight is okay. Till Tomorrow's nice. Turn On Some Music is nice. Midnight Lady, of course, the opener's probably my favorite track on it. But again, I don't think as a record, the single was a really good single, but I don't think as a record it's one of the better ones. So that would be my number 11, Midnight Love, Marvin Gaye, 1982. I'd stay with 3 stars with that. Now let's move into the top 10 here. 1965's How Sweet It Is, and of course another one packed with hits. And it's you wonder at this time how anything else could they could have any other direction. But it's so funny that this is kind of in the same time period. It wasn't the Nat King Cole record was not far after this. So you got Wonderful One on this. Try It, Baby. Baby, don't you do it. And again, you've got a good Dozer Holland Gorman song, Forever, closing this record. But once again, Stepping Closer to Your Heart's good. I guess it's a little bit of a stronger second side, but again, it's down low. It's loaded with these extra songs, these Mickey Stevenson songs, which to me aren't as good as the other writers. I mean, they're good songs. They're solid songs, but for the most part, none of these songs were ever featured that much for hits. So, but again, this one I like the sound of this one. This one's getting into good territory. Let's go to number 9, Into the Modern Era. And I have this record somewhere, but I can't find it. It's 1972 soundtrack to Trouble Man, and it's probably under T now. It just hit me because I put all the soundtracks under the name of the damn movie. That's probably where it is. But 1972's Trouble Man. When you think about that record, that's not exactly one that is thought of as, because there's so much of it is instrumental, but it still sets a good vibe. It's still probably the best solid record instrumental of the black themed movie soundtrack. If you're talking about Shaft, if you're talking about those sounds from those movies, I think it's probably can hold its own against any of the larger ones here, any of the Curtis Mayfield stuff, and he was still in his game, and he's still between what's going on and let's get it on. So the things were rolling for him pretty good. Let's get down to number 8 for the next one, 1970s. That's The Way Love Is. That is a 1970 record, and this is kind of when he broke into the modern era. He does the Beatles cover, of course, which everybody makes a mistake of doing. Stevie's, we're going to talk about that too. Does I Wish It Would Rain? Uh, this is a one where he does a lot of other people's songs that other people had going, but the sound of this again, and the concept of it, and really the singing on it, it sounds inspired here. This sounds like something that he wants to do. And there's another thing I should say. I excluded from this list all of Marvin's wonderful collaborations with the ladies. Tammy Terrell, fantastic. Diana Ross, Martha and the Vandellas. He had many great ones, and I have all the records there. Of those also, but maybe we'll do a special one on those collaborations. But yeah, it's a shame that he stopped doing that, because even the one with Diana Ross, and I'm not really a Diana Ross fan, but I thought that was pretty strong. That's The Way Love is interesting because it's a concept, because it's other people's songs. It's kind of songs that other people made big, and and it works. Now from here on in, I'm going to show you the wax. This is number 7 is 1968's In the Groove. 1968's In the Groove is Tear It On Down. There Goes My Baby, You, Chained. This is another one here that probably didn't have the greatest commercial success. But to me, this is one that really carries the sound, carries the Motown sound. The band is fantastic. Marvin's vocals on this record are especially great, and this may really be the peak of his voice. And you're talking, early tail of 285. You're talking 1968, but this is true. This is before he came into to the modern age, and he was on fire. Version of Heard It Through the Grapevine on this, Some Kind of Wonderful Chain, Tear It On Down, You. I mean, this is a powerhouse. And once again, we continue with the tradition of the first side being a little bit better than the second side, but it's just amazing. It's continuous through this up to this point. But that's what's going on with that one. And so I have that one in 1968, 4 stars. Let's move on into 1969 and my next 4-star record, MPG, number 6. 4 stars, Marvin Gaye here. Too busy thinking about my baby. That's the way love is. Seek and you shall find. It's a bitter pill to swallow. It don't take much to keep me. I got to get to California. This is a really good record. This magic moment. There's some stuff that's sprinkled in that's a little bit different, but this is the one time when he does this stuff, and you say, okay, maybe this is going to work, because it was a complete disaster when it was singularly put through. But when you put these songs here, and I got to get to California, you've got the Stevie Wonder song, Try My Main Love. You really have a situation at this point, peak here, where he's really does a signature vocal performance, but he's really reliant still at this time on other people to write his songs. And it's funny, even though he had writing credits prior to that, in 1969 he didn't. And so that's a little bit odd because of what happened here once he did get them. And once he did get more control, it was interesting what happened. He created something really new. This is, once again, a couple Whitfield things. It was done. This was the first top 40 record that actually had album, believe it or not, in 1969. And it was number 1 on the soul music chart. So I mean, it's some of the songs here were not as popular as some of the other singles, but nevertheless, and I guess that you can share that with my number 5 here, another 4-star record here, which I am fond of. But again, there's a certain vacancy. This is post period of time. This is In Our Lifetime. This is the record in 1981, 4 stars for me. This is the one with Praise, Love Party, which my wife is really fond of, Heavy Love Affair, In Our Lifetime, Love Me Now or Love Me Later, Funk Me. I mean, this is a complicated record, man. I mean, some of this is good. Some of this sounds like he's not fully moving with this thing. This is said that he was the one in charge, but it was done again overseas. It was done in London at a time. I guess he was in exile from this country for a while. And some of this then was recorded in Hollywood before that, and then some of it then was done over in London and a couple different places. So it was an interesting patch together type of a record. Marvin is all over it. A lot of other people here were on it. Raymond Crosley, Gordon Banks, Karis Nolan, Robert Aubrey, Frank Blair, Bugsy Wilcox. Yeah, you go down here, man. It's a later record, and it was put together, and it sounds good, but it's clearly post disco here, and you can hear that influence in the record. But still, from some very interesting songs from 1981 is In Our Lifetime. And now we get to the tragic end of Marvin and Anna's divorce, and this happened in the year of 1978. This happened after the embarrassment to her of I Want You, which was basically an erotic romp with his new love at the time. And but this is the court-ordered album, Here My Dear, 1974 or 1978. I guess it was thought of from that period of time, but this is actually part of the judgment. And even in the artwork, is he so blunt with it? I've never been this record. His proceeds from this record were supposed to go to her. So what does he do? He just lays it all out. When Did You Stop Loving Me? Of course. When Did I Stop Loving You? Unbelievable. Time to Get It Together. Sparrow, and the song's beautiful. The reprise of the theme with the instrumental, then Funky Space Reincarnation. Oh my God! And then it reprises again at the end, and it's just. I met a little girl, which it's some of this is. When did you stop loving me? When did I stop loving you? To me, it's probably one of his greatest, most heartfelt recording performances, and the artwork is interesting, and it's really amazing. But I don't believe that from a 1978 record, it was such a dour subject matter that it did not sell, and so there wasn't much from it. But yeah, I don't think it really peaked my. The people liked the record. It took a lot of guts to do that, but at the same time, it was after the period when things got looser. Let's move on here to the big three. We've got three left here, and I'm going to go with the erotic masterpiece from 1973. Let's Get It On, which is really incomparable. These last three are just fabulous records all the way around. Please Don't Stay, Once You Go Away, If I Should Be Die Tonight, Keep Getting It On. Oh my God, Come Get to Me, and Distant Love. This is look it up online of his performances online, Soul Train, he's on there, I think he's something else, but it is just out of this world, man. Fantastic. Come get to this. I mean, this is just to keep you satisfied. You sure love the ball. This is where he enters into the erotic stage, which is going to go ahead and continue in a record that got me through an entire time of studying, of going through places. I played this record nonstop, and I love this record. I love everything about it. I love Leon Ware. I love Leon Ware's other record from here, the masterpiece I Want You, with the beautiful, beautiful artwork. In the front here, associate producer T-Boy Ross and Hal Davis. But I Want You, Come Live With Me, Angel, After the Dance, Feel All My Love Inside. And then the second side, when it starts off with a and then he comes in, ah, all the way around, man. That's that. And Since I've Been Loving You, again, Walk Me Out of the Building, Walk Me Off the Plank, man. That's and then he comes in, just since we make love to you again, baby. I mean, after the dance, holy shit, man! To end it with this is just, this is, Since I Had You is just something else, man, and erotic, and soon I'll Be Loving You Again cools it down a little bit, but After the Dance is just a nice, just beautiful. Dance with me, come on. I mean, it's hard for me not to put this personally at number one, because, I mean, I am totally adore this record. I could put it on. I mean, personally, it would be higher than it is, but I have to call things the way they are and call the things the way society sees it, and I love it too, man. I love it too. It's number one. It's number one. It's Marvin Gaye. What's going on? Marvin Gaye, what's going on? You know the theme of it. What's going on? What's happening, brother? Feeling high in the friendly sky. God is love. Mercy, mercy me. Holy, holy, inner city blues, right on. And this record, baby, is not lopsided. Both sides are great. In fact, even probably like the second side better. Right on, holy, holy, and inner city blues. Save the Children, God is love, gets a little bit, Save the Children's probably to me is a little bit flying high in the sky. What's happening, brother? What's going on? God is love, mercy, mercy, me especially. I mean, this record is again is a complete masterpiece. I'll get this out and show you the inside of it, but there are a lot of pressings of it. I'm showing you one of the later ones, but I have a couple of these, and I've got a couple I want use. But this is the original artwork with him inside, and it's. I still remember where I was when I heard this. I remember I was a little kid. I was a little kid, and I heard this soprano saxophone. It's this Wayne Shorter stuff, but I didn't know it at the time. I was a kid. But I heard it come through, and I heard these people saying, "What's happening, man? What's up, brother? What's going on?" And there was just nothing like this. He and the tone of his voice, brother, brother. There's never been a more plaintive, honest, humble plea in the tone. You can't fake that. That's not something that today with Pro Tools and everything that's going on, and it's a performance. It's a mood. It's somebody who had a vision and somebody who drove it home and somebody who had the talent that was just. And in my opinion, what's going on, and I want you both soar, man. I mean, they are to me high above a lot of the other music of the genre and a lot of music of the time. And that as time goes on, in my opinion, they get stronger and stronger and stronger. And so does the memory of the great Marvin Gaye. I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight, and soon we will return with something else. Joe and I are going to work on this Beatles issue. I also have some other guests. I'm not going to divulge yet until we get it done, but we're getting them lined up now, and we're going to do some fun things. So I appreciate you hanging out. Leave your list if you would like. Leave any comments you would like. And I appreciate you to subscribe. And we will see you next time with some fresh stuff. Thanks, man. See us.